Hey, what's going on, family?
What up? What up? What up?
It's your boy JT, the corporatepreneur, and we are live here again, once again,
Yeah,
um, kind of unscripted, right?
yes.
Or
Back by popular demand.
back by popular demand, and we're talking about an interesting topic tonight. Okay, this is a little bit interesting. It may be taboo to some, whatever the case may be, but we're talking about porn, sex, and male identity, and kind of how all these three worlds collide in a sense. This is just kind of off the top of the dome. This just kind of hit me. This is something that I kind of wanted to talk about. I threw it to Tommy. He's like, "Hey, bro, yeah, let's tackle this. Let's talk about these three topics that may be uncomfortable for some, or and people probably, oh man, talk about business credit funding. Yeah, that's cool, but this ain't that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like this,
like
this,
that.
this time, I'm not like, yo,
Not
we
tonight.
talking about real conversations, real experiences, and different things that I believe people need to hear. Okay. So we just giving them the real tonight, some real perspective, some real conversation. And if you're watching this, and if you want to join the conversation, we can invite you on to the show tonight. All you got to do is comment, join below, and then I'll send you guys an invite link if anybody wants to come kind of share their mind as we get the show going and as we talk about some of these different topics tonight. Okay. And then also too, and if for some reason I don't see you guys in the comment section, send me a DM on Facebook, or I'll make sure I turn my notifications on. I'll try to get to you the best I can. Or if you're watching on Instagram, if you guys DM me there, I can go ahead and send you guys the link, so that way you guys can let me take my phone off do not disturb, so that way you guys can join us, whoever wants to join. All
Okay,
right.
let me do that. Let me do that too.
Yeah, there you go. So if they come to you, and here, Tom, I'm gonna send you this link too, Tommy, so that way you have it. So if you get somebody on your end, you can invite them, and then if I get somebody else on mine, I can invite them from there. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it. So the first topic, right? Let's talk about the P word. You know, some people call it corn, right? You gotta call it corn on social
Yeah.
media, or you might
So you
get
don't
banned.
get shadow banned.
Yeah, I hope I don't get shadow banned tonight, but we about to tell the truth and shame the devil, right? It's Sunday somewhere, ain't it? It
Yeah,
is 12
somewhere.
o'clock somewhere, right? So that means we got to bring the word. We have to bring the truth. All right. So just kind of jumping in like to the first topic, right? Like porn. Um, and I wanted to talk about this because I know it does play a role in relationships, right? We talked a little bit about relationships last time. We talked about infidelity, and I wanted to kind of talk about like porn and the role that it plays in all of that, right? Identity, sex, what we expect, how we engage in it, so on and so forth. And I'll kind of start back, man, to the beginning, man, of when I first was exposed to pornography, right? So I remember, like, bro, time I was probably like in what the so
Like, I
like
don't know. I went there.
yeah.
Go
Right.
ask me.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Yeah, Tommy Teller, because yeah, you remember that. No, but no, like I was first exposed to it, man. I had two instances in which I was exposed to it, right? And I don't necessarily remember which one came first, but I remember I was in like the fifth grade. I was in the fifth grade. I just had left private school. My mom, she just put me in public school. I was going to Washington Elementary. And I was in Miss Mitchell's class, man, fifth grade. And somebody brought like a printout to school, like a picture, it was a woman and a man, and somebody was getting head in the picture, whatever, right? Like that's what the image was. And I had seen it, but I'm like, okay, hey, no big deal, whatever, right? It didn't really hit me or affect me in that moment. I just was like, man, we'll get this stuff out of here, right? Like I wasn't at this time, like, man, I still hadn't even discovered my body. I didn't know nothing about guys was talking, oh, beating my meat. Man, I didn't know nothing about that. Like, dude, I played baseball, video games. I went home, like that was my life, right? So um having that first moment, seeing that picture, really didn't affect me. Wasn't a big deal in that moment in space and time. But I remember how I got in trouble, and I got in trouble because I seen that picture and I didn't say anything about it, which I thought was whack. At the time, I had to write this punishment to my mom. It's like, hey, man, I got caught at school. They said I was looking at porn, and she kind of going off like, hey, man, what you doing? Like, we ain't raised you up on this, da da da. And I was like, my, it really wasn't like what it seems. Like, I ain't even get my money's worth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got in trouble like off the strength of somebody else brought in for being freaky. I just didn't tell on my people, my homies. I kept going. So that was like the first kind of introduction, something light. But the second introduction, man, it happened at a family member's house, right, man? I went to my great uncle's house, and my cousin lived there at the time. I'm not gonna say his name or anything like that, but this dude, I came over, brought my Nintendo 64. I'm ready to play video games at cuz house, right? This is what I'm looking forward to. This is what I'm excited about. But then he flipped the script on me. Like, bro, I don't know. We might have played like Mario Kart like 2 rounds or something, and then it was like, hey, man, I'm about to show you something. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, let's watch the movie. Whatever you got, man, cuz, yeah, just put the movie on. Whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, he popped the flick in, and I'm just like, I remember sitting there, and I'm just kind of like, man, like feeling like all these different ranges of emotion. Like, oh man, what am I looking at? Like this looks kind of weird. Like, what he doing to her? You know what I'm saying? Like, why he putting his mouth there on the private parts? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it was just like a lot of these different emotions, bro. Like, I almost didn't even know how to feel in that moment. I just knew I felt like weird. Now, I didn't necessarily be like, hey man, turn this off. I can't watch this or see this. It almost like entranced me to a little bit or piqued my curiosity because I didn't understand like what I was really seeing, and but in that moment, from that moment on, like, dude, like I was never like the same to a certain degree. I had been exposed to seeing something that I wasn't supposed to see, like this act, this intercourse or whatever being played out like in front of me. And it changed me to a certain degree, right? And so and we could talk a little bit more about it as we continue this conversation, but I just want to pause right there. I want to punt it to you, man. Do you remember the first time you seen a flick or you were exposed to corn or yeah? Can you tell us that?
So I have a different relationship with corn, if I may. The first time I seen it or seen that type of material, I'll never forget it. It was at my grandmother's house.
Your girl, it'd be something.
It'd be grandma. It'd be grandma
in house, or the great bro. It's something about that grandparent level of layer where it's like, hey, they older, the attention ain't there as much. Little cousins be like, okay, but go ahead. Yeah.
So I had a bunch of uncles that stayed with my my uncles were still like in their early 20s and stuff like that when I was a kid or whatever. So I'll never forget one day I was outside playing in the backyard and we had to take the garbage out. They told us to take the garbage out. Yeah. I'm taking the garbage out. I'm rolling the garbage out and I look in the garbage can and it's this red VHS tape cover, just the tape cover. It was red. And I'll never forget, it had this white woman on it, and she was naked, and the only thing I saw was a bush.
Okay.
And like you said, the funny thing is you said you didn't even like correlate what that was when you first saw it. For me, I knew exactly what it was when I saw it. That was the first time that I had saw it,
Yeah.
And I'll later on when we get into the discussion of sex, I'll talk about why I knew what that was. But the next time I saw it, I don't know if y'all remember how before there were streaming services and stuff like that, you had cable.
Yeah.
And in order to get certain channels, you had to have like the little hookup piece that give you HBO, Cinemax, and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, in Chicago, when you didn't have those hookup pieces, you used to get you can go to the channel. And it'll be, you can't really see it. It'll be fragmented. It'll be like the screen to be blurry or what, but you can see what's going on. And channel 18 was the channel to watch.
Bro,
I'll never forget it. Channel 18 was the channel to watch. And even though I couldn't see it clearly, I saw the ripple of the women and the man getting it in and stuff like that. And like, from there on, it became a thing that was part of my development.
Yeah, you trying to.
The funny thing is the way that the brain works is funny because the brain will try to like complete whatever you don't.
Oh,
like it's like a puzzle.
yeah.
If you don't have all the pieces, your brain gonna give you the pieces. Like this is what it's supposed to look like. And
Trying
what
to
I
bust
saw on
one
that
off
TV
the ripple,
screen,
like just bro, like that's okay. So I laugh because after that, you know, that first experience, bro, encountering that right at cousin's house. Right? I'm not immediately after that, bro. I still was processing that, like whatever you want to. You could, I guess, you could call it trauma, even, right, or that exposure to that,
It's
right?
trauma.
Still process, yeah, that trauma, bro. Like this feel, man. What are these feelings that I'm feeling now, right? You know, and yeah, bro. Then it's like, okay, it outside of that, then just learning to discover like my body, right? You know, coming into, like, I think that might have been when I was 11, you know, not even 12 or 13. Then, bro, like just being around, you know, the fellas at school, like, oh man, he so and so beating your meat, you know, like, bro, like I didn't even know like what that really meant. Like I would like say it, but nigga, I still hadn't discovered my body to know what like beating my meat was, or what happens when you keep jerking it, and then, you know what I'm saying, like you come right, just, you know, discovering like my body, right? Like I had no idea about those things. And like I said, my like going back, putting it in perspective, like, bro, this is the blind leading the blind. We are all, like I said, 11, 12, you know what I'm saying, 10, 11, 12, you know, maybe 13, like that window. And we got all this stuff happening, like discovering the body, being exposed to this. And then too, bro, like it was even guys who was bragging, like, and maybe I probably, some of my other peers were, but like they was actually having sex.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about watching a flick or getting exposed to it. Like, yo, like I'm really out here. I'm 13 and I'm like, I could hear conversations. Man, my dick wet. I got my dick wet. Like it was just like, this was the bragging rights of like being a young man. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the conversation that went on. And even for me, bro, like I was just I wasn't there yet, you know? So being in those social circles and around these guys who was, you know, I just wasn't there. And then also too, like, man, so my parents were divorced and I had a relationship with my dad, but my relationship wasn't as tight like it is now. It wasn't like, hey dad, like what's beating off, or I'm feeling these feelings on the inside, or I'm jerking off now. Like, bro, it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't that. So it's that blind leading the blind. It's the peers, the people around me, and whatever experiences they're having, I'm kind of having those too by default, or I'm thinking that that's the norm and that's what I need to be doing. I'm gonna pause right there, bro, and see you got any thoughts, anything you kind of want to expound on from that type of experience.
Yeah, nah, because this can kind of segue into talking about sex and the reason why. Because I know they probably see us joking and laughing on this thing, talking about this topic, but this is a serious topic.
It's real, yeah,
and it is real, and it plagues a lot of young men and even older men till this day. There's men right now that just can't put it down or whatever, and our society has made it the norm. I'm not here to judge, you know, got sex workers and all that other stuff. To each his own, but scientifically it's been proven the negative effect that this has on the human brain. Like we weren't wired to have that much access to that type of material. Even at that young age. And what that does is distort our view and how things should be. That's why you get kids, I mean dudes in their early 20s with ED, you know what I'm saying? They got to pop the blue pill because they can't get it up, because like the way that porn has
the appetite,
the way that it has perverted our minds and made us think, and you know what I'm saying, I didn't know until I was like in my late 20s that they weren't really having sex like that. I thought that was all, you know, I didn't know they was cutting in between them scenes and doing
Hey man,
in my mind, I thought, man, I gotta go 30 minutes. I gotta go an hour. I gotta, if I ain't, and this whole is mentally, like, I looked this up. It says, listen to this. It says, porn rewires the dopamine center, leaving the brain, making you vulnerable to addiction, as well as changing belief around what's normal in healthy sexual relationships. Porn can also lead to desensitization, non-pleasure response due to the overstimulation of dopamine receptors. Meaning, like that's a problem. Right?
You get a high, that's a hit. So
So when I think about that, and I think about it as children, right? You know, and I know, you know, some of us, maybe some of y'all watching, y'all Christian, y'all grew up in conservative household, and you think about like how the Bible tells us to refrain from sex before marriage, right?
Yeah.
And when we get into our marriages, I know I've been married and I'm divorced now. When we entered these marriages, why, like, I never really understood why they used to be like, yeah, don't have sex before marriage, right?
Right.
And I
Right.
wish churches would do a better job at explaining this, not just from like the biblical sense, but like from a practicality sense, right?
Yeah.
Think of it this way: if you wait to have sex until you're married, right? You don't watch porn, you don't do nothing. When you come together, two virgins coming together, that's gonna be the best sex either one of them has ever had.
Yeah.
What happens is we go out there, we smashing other chicks, the girls smashing other dudes, and when they come with their partner, and that partner ain't doing what Felicia used to do,
Yeah.
and you ain't laying it down like Tyrone used to do, it messes with our minds to where we like, okay, man, maybe this ain't it, or maybe I want something else. And it's like it gets perverted because we our appetites for it, right? What we were exposed to just changes how we view it. So, you know, if I could do it all over again, man, I swear, man, I'll be a virgin. If I could do it all over again, you know what I'm saying? If I can go back in time, I'll slap Booty Talk #7 out of my hand so I can't watch it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot, man. This porn thing, and it's sad because you see people who are legit addicted to it. You know, it's like a drug, and you know, it's sad to watch, you know, and a lot of people, you know, believe it or not, are walking around here and they have no control over it.
Yeah, and another thing, bro, I kind of want to double click on like two things you said, man. One, just talking about three things, bro. What reality is, what real is, right? You talked about how, okay, I'm watching these videos, and yeah, they do a phenomenal job editing, right? Like it just looked like, man, they don't quit, they keep going, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you think, okay, hey, this is how it goes, right? Like even just from the idea of knowing what pleasure truly looks like, or how to truly please, like you, hey man, I'm finna do 100 turbos. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen that's what I seen in the video. So that's what my partner, like that's what they about to get. They about to get 100 of these. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that maybe 100 of these ain't what it really takes. That's not what the sensitive parts or the spots are like on your partner's body, right? You know, so I definitely agree with that. And then too, man, just from an appetite perspective, right? You know, I know there's a term now, people say, oh, you know, you're so vanilla, right? Or plain, or, you know, whatever, right? But that's all relative based on, you know, different people's experiences. Also, what you've seen. If you got turned out early at 11, 12, and they swinging from chandeliers and they got masks and gags and wit, like, and that's that what you were exposed to now becomes your norm. So when you connect with somebody and they ain't like that, you like, well, dang, what's wrong with this person? You know, like you have now you have what you've been exposed to is now your norm. And that ain't necessarily, you know, the norm per se, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I think it definitely influences the experiences or the encounters, you know what I'm saying, like with our partners or whatever. And especially for people who subscribe to, you know, traditional values or Christianity, or, you know, whether it's ideals, faith-based or not, whatever, monogamy, right?
Yeah.
When you open up Pandora's box, it is extremely hard to close it. Like you said, like you touched on, you know, you get these partners and they doing tricks and all this other stuff. And, you know, then you get with your spouse, your person, and you like, man, you know,
they basic.
Yeah, you know, shoot, I don't know if this is gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you have been exposed to something that, you know, you really can't take back. And it really takes a lot of discipline, you know, prayer, deliverance, whatever you want to call it, to rebound from that, so that way you can function and move forward in that next phase of a relationship.
Bro,
And
I'm sorry. So I want to share something. I don't think I've ever shared this publicly. I don't even think I've told you this before. So remember how I told you that when I first saw my first piece of material, I already knew what it was.
Yeah.
So When I was around, I want to say 3 or 4 years old, I'll never forget this. I was at my grandmother's house in Chicago, and the way that the projects was set up, you can see the courtyard where they had like the swings, the basketball court, the playground for the kids, all from your back patio or whatever.
Yeah.
And back then in the 90s, people weren't worried about people kidnapping their kids like that. So kids can go outside, freedom, whatever. So I'm sitting on this curb, and I'll never forget that this lady, like, I can vividly remember and smell this woman. I was sitting on the curb. This lady comes to me, this dark-skinned, skinny lady with an afro. She had like this black and gold skirt on with a black camisole, and she smelled like cigarettes. She told me, she was like, I'm your mama's friend. And she picked me up and she took me to her apartment. Now, from that point on, my next memory was coming home from school on my 6th birthday. I blocked out that entire section of my life, right? When I was a kid, I was very sexually curious, and I didn't understand or know why. Now, what happened to me was just revealed to me when I started going to therapy about 5 years ago. When I traced it back, when I was from the age of 3 to about 5, my mom told me I was a mute. I didn't talk. It connected that, like, that was a trauma response of someone molesting me as a kid. So from the age of 3 to 5, I was a mute. I didn't really talk like that. I had to go to speech therapy and all this other stuff, but that really was a trauma response to me being molested. On top of that, my sexual curiosity, I'm in 1st grade, and I'm thinking about vaginas. I'm thinking about, sex and stuff. Like, I know where to put stuff at. And I'm like, when I think about it, I'm like, yo, where did this come from? And I never understood or knew where it came from until I went to therapy and found out that it was rooted in that moment when I was molested, right? So now you introduce porn on top of that. Now it's like, on the inside, I have these feelings, these emotions, and now I'm visually seeing these people interacting and doing these things. Now it made me even more curious to the point to where, like, now I'm 13, 14, 15 years old. Like, I can't stop watching it. You know what I'm saying? Even up until, like, a lot of people don't like to admit it. And especially, and like, I know people be thinking like, man, Tommy must be an atheist. He always talking about Christians or whatever. But I mean, that's all I know. In the Christian space, you would be surprised at how many people are addicted to pornography. These preachers that be preaching, these ministers that be hard on homosexuality, they be hard on other stuff. They be addicted to porn. I think I was watching one of Tim Ross podcasts. He was talking about how, like, they used to have like these conferences, and they would have these Christian conferences, and the hotels that the people would stay in would have a record number of pornographic material that was paid for on those little channels that you buy in the hotel rooms.
Wow.
So it's like, people try to suppress it, people try to hide it, but like, it comes out, when your wife can't satisfy you no more, or you can't get it up because your wife ain't doing what you saw on the TV screen, or it ain't happening. Like, all of that, it's all mental. It's like, all of that is mental and it's spiritual. So this is why, like, I'm really glad we talking about this, because I'm hoping that this conversation kind of open up the door for people to, like, reflect on, like, yo, where did this come from? What is the root of this? Why can't I let this thing go?
Yeah, bro. And you said a lot there too, man, about first of all, I didn't know that was your story, man. I never knew, bro. As long as I've known you, we've never talked about, hey, man, I'm freaky for a reason, like, it just, hey, I had an experience, I had an encounter, when I was younger, bro, I had no idea, right? And even just kind of building upon it, I know there's a lot of people who struggle with it, right? And that's why I talked about the 3 different. So first, the introduction of it, perception on sex, and we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about identity too, but also, man, just from the sex perspective of it, right? Because we've got this group or community, young men, whoever, who've all have had some type of sexual encounter with it, whether it's porn, whether it's been molested, whatever the case may be. And then hold on one second. Okay, so yeah, you know, everyone having these, my bad. Yeah, I'm trying to maintain a couple of things. But you know, yeah, just having these different, you know, experiences and stuff like that, right? And even when it comes to sex at a young age, man, almost feeling the peer pressure, man, because I wasn't having sex, right? Like it was dudes
Mhm.
who was 13, 7th, 6th, 7th grade to, oh yeah, I'm getting it, you know, whatever. You know, bro, they was talking about running trains at 13, you know, 6th, 7th grade. Oh man, yeah, man, we had her, we was, you know, this and
That's
that. And I'm
sad.
just kind of like, man, like, dang, like y'all running trains, like, bro, like, I wasn't there, but that peer pressure, even then, man, it would kind of mess with me, right? You gotta, you know, we're in this age of, you know, at that time, your friends, your social circles, you kind of want to be in on the in crowd, you know, different things like that. And I was a different kid growing up too. Like, bro, there's pictures of me at picture day in middle school. I'm the kid that had on a Jesus Christ jersey that said 12. You know what I'm saying? I got a picture, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's documented. I have a picture. People used to call me church boy. Oh, you church boy. You know what I'm saying? So I was a different type of kid. Now, I always played sports. You know, I went to the Boys and Girls Club. So I was known, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of in that in crowd, but there were certain crowds because of that, bro. It was just this guy's he's a good guy here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Had a Jesus jersey on with the
a
number
Jesus
1.
Christ jersey, bro. No, it was 12. It's 12 to side. He had 12 to side, bro. It was like, bro, it was black and red, bro. I'll never forget it. And the jersey was cold too. Like, I ain't going, it was a cold jersey. But you know, just to kind of put the perspective of the picture of the kid that I was at that time, from that 6th grade to 8th grade, you know, that was kind of the window when all this stuff was happening. You know, like I said, my peers, my cousin who had exposed me kind of to porn for the first time, you know, he was knocking it down. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so bro, that created this level of peer pressure, you know, and this like sexual tension, like even at a young age, you know, but I didn't know how to talk about that kind of stuff or how to deal with that. And that's kind of what led to, you know, me, you know, discovering my body or my journey, you know, even with me watching, you know, porn, right? Like bro, we had a cheater box and, you know, HBO would come on. It's the weekend, it's late. I'm like, man, shoot, it was real sex used to come on there.
What was your flashback channel? Disney or Nickelodeon?
Oh, Flash. Oh, you know what, dude? I wasn't even that savvy. I'm just like, bro, if somebody pressed the flashback or whatever, I'm hit. I'm caught. I've never been a good sneakster. Even in moments where, as I got a couple years, I remember in high school, I don't even know how I got this porn, this DVD. I had a DVD, bro. I was in the room, hey, going beat up till I went to sleep, just going crazy. I was going brazy with it. You know what I'm saying? Because bro, in my household, I didn't have access to that stuff. So somehow I got a DVD from somebody somewhere. You know, like I said, I don't want to say nobody's names and nothing like that. The guys we grew up with, but
I 100% know who you got it from.
Somebody, I got a DVD and I'm just going to, bro, beat myself into a coma. I was asleep, bro. And then, hey, bro. And then, hey, bro. And then, bro, I went to sleep. And then my mom came in the room, and I was like, I heard the door open, like it was opening so slow. Like, bro, I had all the contraband on the floor. I had nothing, bro. I ain't even have enough energy to just, oh no, don't come in or like hide something. Like, bro, I took the L, bro, you know, and he's still laughing.
I can't take it.
Yeah, bro. So
it hurt. I'm trying to stop laughing.
I know, bro. I know. Yeah,
Oh,
but yeah, bro. Like
oh man,
Muggs was knocked out, bro. Knocked out. And so
bro.
yeah, bro. That was like the first time, I had got, caught or whatever. And my mom tried to, my mom ain't really, single parents, mom. She ain't know how to address that, So it was, hey, don't do this, or hey, I'm gonna tell your dad. And my dad called me, hey, son, what's going on? I heard you, you seen the video, So it's just kind of like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like coach, manage, like through that stuff or whatever. But but
Dog,
anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
dog. Listen, man. I remember when I got caught. This is when my parents found out. My older cousin gave us a VHS. Thinking about this, technology has come a long way.
A long way.
And to be sneaky in those times, that's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my cousin gave us this VHS tape. I'll never forget it. Booty Talk number 14. I'll never forget it. Had a little smudge on the little cassette thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, at night, I popped that mug in the VHS. We had bunk beds. I'll let Keenan tell his side of the story. We have bunk beds. Pop that joint in, you know what I'm saying? And hey, like you said, went wild or whatever. So we had a dresser drawer, and I would take the DVD, the tape out, and I would put it in the third dresser, and I'll put all the clothes on top of it. I guess one day my mama did laundry, and she went through them dresser drawers.
Yeah.
Man, she was so hot. I think I got the worst whooping of my life. I think I was like 13 or 14 at this time or whatever. And she called my cousin, she called his mom, but your son gave my kids. but I never got caught in the act though.
Never caught in the act. It'd be, like, why are your socks so crispy? Why can't
What's
they
this
stand
yellow
up
stain on your shirt?
Right. Yeah. Like it just was, come on, man. All the towels look like they got
just hard.
Heavy starch on them, like
towels sitting up straight.
Right. So it just, but all jokes aside, bro. But no, and that's another thing too. We talked about the appetite for sex porn and all that stuff that it creates, man. Yeah, yeah, but bro, just to keep it a buck, man, that sex thing, that sex demon, whatever you want to call it, man, is strong. And you look at people who can't manage it at all, like the predators and the rapists and bro, it opens up a whole nother avenue when you kind of get perverted up here between the ears mentally, and I'm like, we talking about our experience, but it really is a serious thing. And I do want to pause. I want to say this right now, man. If you watching this and you feel like you got a case of the, I can't help it, and your drive, whatever, you can't stop watching it or whatever, you're thinking about harming other people, whatever the case. I encourage you, if you're under the sound of my voice, to seek some type of help or guidance. Right now, I'm no clinical therapist or anything like that. If somebody hit me in the DM, I would definitely, I'll pray for you, support you, whatever, on your journey. If you just kind of need to say, hey man, I'm struggling amongst men, even as we talking about this, we're sharing our journey, our experiences. But I do want to provide some type of help or resource. I know I've got friends and people in these different spaces. So if you're really watching this and you're like, yo, man, like I need help. I need some type of help. I need to talk to somebody. Like I got something going on. Hey, maybe if this comes across a young person's timeline, right? Man or woman, whatever, right? Like, and you need some help or support, reach out to myself, Tommy on here. And we'll try to get you into the right hands, right? As best we can. So I did want to pause and say that.
I actually got a database of therapists that specialize in this particular topic or whatever. And if anybody, like seriously, all jokes aside, I know you see us laughing and sharing our experience, but if you struggling, hit me up, hit him up, let us know. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. I want to tell you what helped me. The first step was telling somebody.
Yeah.
The reason why this is important is because a lot of times when we feel guilty or we feel shamed or we struggling with this thing, we're struggling with it in the dark and we tell ourselves, I can beat this. I ain't got to tell nobody, right? And because you don't tell anybody, you have nobody to hold you accountable, nobody to at least, hey man, how you doing? Check up on you. So you can slip and fall as many times as you want, and ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you.
Right.
The moment that you expose yourself, and not in a sense like you exposing yourself to make you look like a bad person, but you be real with somebody, say, hey, listen, I can't stop watching porn. I don't like doing this. I don't like watching. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know so that if ever you see me or you wondering if I like, hit me up and let me know. I got friends right now. One of the things that I did, I got a few male friends and I hit them up. I said, hey fellas, I'm struggling. I'm about to come over.
Yeah.
And when they see me text that, they know what that means. So I'm going to their crib and we gonna sit and we gonna talk. We not gonna talk about what you struggling with. We gonna talk about something. We're gonna talk about the basketball game. We're gonna talk about, you know what I'm saying, what we dealing on with life. It gets you away from thinking about that. It gets your mind off of that, and it gets you away from it. For me, that helped. You may have a deeper thing. It may be deeper than that. So you're gonna need, you know, therapy. You're gonna need some prayer, some deliverance, or whatever you believe it. You're gonna need more hands-on, no pun intended, help. So you gotta do what you gotta do to get the help, man. The first step is like admitting, like, yo, this is a problem. If you wake up every morning and that's the first thing you do, is a problem. If you can't go to sleep without doing that, is a problem. If you smash your girl and right after you gotta watch one of them joints to get it off, it's a problem. And it's not healthy, man. Like it's been scientifically proven that it's not healthy. It's not good. And and this is the sad part about it. A lot of those videos that we watch, a lot of those women in those videos, outside of them being somebody's mom, somebody's daughter, a lot of them women, some of them are being trafficked. Some of them women are being abused. Some of them women are being drugged and forced to perform in some of those things. And when you think about it from that perspective, it's really sick and twisted. The whole porn industry is sick and twisted in general. And I'm not saying it's like I'm a saint and like I ain't never watched but like when you think about it from that perspective, it changes your whole, like, yo, this is sick. And this is what I'm feeding myself and thinking this is what I need to do with my partner. It's sick stuff that's going on. I'm bringing that into my household. So like it's something that you really need to get a hold of.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about, kind of go back to the sex piece a little bit and like the identity part of it, right? And I want to talk about the identity because I believe, even not that I know, like there are men today who are still in crisis and who have not matured and have not pursued their passions, purpose, because of this identity that they have, right? Oh, I mean, I got to sleep with the most women as possible, or I gotta, you know, I got to keep knocking them down. I'm not ready to settle down. Like this is my identity, this ego. It feeds me to be with these different women. It's a badge of honor. How many I can knock down? Oh man, I'm about to mess with this whole group of friends, or how many have you slept with in one night? Like all those different things affect the male identity so much so that, bro, even being a young man, right, coming up, feeling like, okay, this is the compass, this is the goal. My purpose to be a true man or a real man, at least based off what I'm around and my friends and my peers, the conversation amongst, you know, athletes and other guys who I'm around. How many can I knock down? How many trains can I run? How many can I get to top me off, you know, and can I record it? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I, you know, how many busters can I get? Oh man, she's a squirter. Oh man, I got, you know, however I can subdue as many women as possible. That's what makes me a man. That's what makes me alpha. That's what solidifies who I am. Like that's what makes my identity, is how many women can you get? And even in the conversations with young men at that time, it's, oh man, you ain't got no bitches. Oh, you don't get no hoes. You don't, you know, like that's, bro, that was the currency. It was how many women can you get? Do you have access to? That was like the only form of currency or status or sauce. And I believe that there, like I say, to this day, there are men who are still caught up in that mental cycle of from that 11, 12, 13 high school years age, who have now grown up to be adult men who struggle navigating life, pursuing things, accomplishing things, being called to be who they were truly created because of women, their ideals of, and just their identity and manhood, it makes them feel good to, hey, that's my badge of honor. Like, oh man, look, man, she bad. I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, can't impact their community, not really taking care of their family, you know what I'm saying? Don't have no true legacy, no morals, no values. I mean, nothing of like true substance, but hey man, this is who I slept with at night, right? And so I think that's extremely problematic for um part of our society, man. And like I say, even just the era in which I grew up in, where I struggled with male identity to a certain extent because of who I was around. And I thought that was like the best gauge or barometer, right? I was like, man, well, I ain't run no trains yet. So I guess, I ain't him, you know what I'm saying? Or I ain't, yeah, bro. So even having to graduate through that phase of figuring out like, okay, what does it take to truly be a man, right? Finding purpose, finding identity, and just kind of breaking free of the chains of like peer pressure and like the peer identity piece. And I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, but I kind of wanted to just touch on that real quick, bro. What that culture was like. And I know, man, there are other young men blind leading the blind who I know those conversations still happen, right? You get teased for not,
Yeah. You a lame if you can't get no girl.
You a lame.
Listen, and like when you think about it from that perspective, dude, we was kids. Like when we were kids, we felt like we were older than what we were.
Yeah.
But look as a 30-year-old man looking back at 13, 14-year-old kids now, and like, yo, I was that age. I was them. And looking at how young and how naive we were, it's like, yo, like we shouldn't have been introduced to that stuff. That shouldn't have been stuff that should have been on our mind at that age. Like legit, like running trains, like how, like, yo, bro, like that's, if you think like that's sad. And we legit
at 12 barely could bust.
Barely could bust. Just a little squirt come out.
Running trains. Come on. And then, bro, just how nasty that, like, bruh, like,
yeah, man. We just was learning how to clean ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I work in the profession of like working with kids. Most 11, 12, 13-year-old boys still stink.
Bro, yeah.
They don't know how to wash their dick, wear the same underwear for 3 or 4 days. Like, imagine being that kid and like that's on your mind. Like, it's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And then to be that kid who don't get none,
right?
Who don't have to be that kid that can't pull the girl. The blow that goes to your self-esteem. When you think about it, yo, I was letting the ability to get women be my self-esteem barometer.
Right.
If I can't get a girl, it like. And looking back on it now, a lot of them dudes that was getting all of them girls, they bums. Like,
right, yeah.
And you think like, man, these chicks got babies by these guys, and it's like, yo, these dudes, cluckers. It's like, man, like that was our standard of whether or not we were men at that age. Like, man, you ain't a man unless you getting this, and like, it was times when I would lie, yeah, man, I got a little bit. I wouldn't be specific. A little bit could have been just I touched it or something. But I got something too, whatever. Yeah. But it was like the extent that we would go to fit in, or to be a part of that,
smell
that
my
crowd.
Finger.
Yeah, smell my finger.
But no, bro, like that peer pressure was what. And so I had a comment. I got somebody here on Instagram. She commented, man, and she was saying, based off this commentary here, it seems that she did wait until marriage, right? She waited all the way until marriage, and she said that she wished she hadn't, because she described it as if it's like not ever leaving the country, right? And so, just to kind of have the different experiences and different things like that, and that was her take. And,
can you ask her to like expound a little bit more why she felt that way?
Well, what she put to me, she just said it's like never leaving the country, right? And then she also put she wished she didn't wait. What else does she have here?
My question for her, my question for her would be: did the person that she waited on, was she there first? Because
Yeah.
I mean, that can be a situation as well.
Yeah, and I asked her, so I said, I said, what do you feel you missed out on? And she just said, I will always be curious of other experiences. And I guess, and I think that may be true to a certain extent, right? Hey, I don't know what it's like to, work for this company or do that. Or maybe I'm putting it in a different perspective. So I guess I could understand where she's coming from. But I guess
this, JT. I'll say this. Like I said in the beginning, two people who have never had sex, never been exposed to sexuality in that sense, come together and have sex. That's the only thing they know. Now,
absolutely,
when you get exposed to other stuff, when you got Kevin Gates out here telling people to eat booty,
right?
And now everybody talking about eating butt and all this other stuff or whatever, right? Yeah. Now you are gonna start being curious because now you've been exposed to other things. I wonder what's that like. I wonder what this is. Now, this is the beauty about marriage and why in the Bible says the marriage bed is undefiled. Why I wish I would have waited until I got married. Yeah. You do all that exploring with your partner. Like, the whole purpose of virgins coming together is to explore. Y'all explore what y'all like and what y'all don't like. You try something out. Hey, how do this make you feel? What do this? These are the things that you explore with your partner when y'all two are the only people that y'all know. Now we don't live in a perfect world, and people are exposed to. We got a freaking thing in our hand right now that we can search anything we want to search. Yeah. So for me, I would encourage people who are married, to, hey, take that time and like really explore with your partner, right? Yeah. Have that conversation with them. Hey, I like this, I like that, and y'all start practicing doing some of that stuff. Now, I'm not into the bringing other people into your bedroom and all of the other stuff, but like between you, that's between y'all. Y'all figure out what y'all want to do to make y'all situation work. But I can't see, at least for me, I can't see a reality, and to each his own, because sister, more power to you how you feel. Yeah. But for me, at least, I can't see a world where I waited till I was married and the person went and we came together. I can't see a world where I would want something outside of that. That's the only titty I'ma know. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't never seen a titty before, and that's the only titty I see, I'm not gonna say, hey man, I would like a bigger areola, or I want the nipple to be a little bit thicker. This is the only thing I know. This is the only thing I see. So I have no point of reference to kind of make me think there's something else better than that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel that too. And I see both sides of it, right? She talked about the curiosity piece of it, right? And I definitely, I can understand it. I think too, it just that's one of those things, man, when it comes to like the commitment or the discipline or whatever, when you pick or choose a part, hey man, I'm ride or die, right? And it's not, and I believe that, man, we're human, right? I think it's okay to acknowledge, hey, this is how I may feel, or I may be thinking in this wavelength, but acting on it is when it becomes a different ballgame, especially if we're looking at the lens of marriage, right? And commitment, Christian faith, those principles. Now, if you subscribe to a different belief system or lifestyle or whatever, that, man, it's the floodgates are open.
Do your thing.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's all about through which lens you look at this, in which we have in this conversation. I think that plays the biggest part of it. Also too, like, man, what about like, man, just your first encounter, right? Sexually anyway, with that person, right? What was that experience? And I guess I'll go back into like going back to man, that high school time, right? I remember this was like my man, this was like my junior year, roughly, right? This is probably around junior year. And bro, I remember that summer, bro, like after it was the summer of my junior year going into senior year, bro. I remember, I met somebody, one of my baseball teammates' cousins who came from out of town. She was a couple years older than me. It was like a big thing, because she was like in college and I was still in high school, and there was some grumblings about, hey man, this ain't right legally, that's almost in their mid-20s, and you
So you was
17.
molested too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what, dude? In a certain context, man, maybe I was. I guess I never really looked at it like that. You know what I'm saying? I think, yeah, you could say I was, right? And even in that, right, bro? Like I didn't even look at it like that, bro. So one, bro, I felt so like out of place as a young man amongst my peers, right? Like, dude, I could not connect for the life of me. I could not connect with the young ladies, like or the young women who are around me, like in high school, bro. I just could not like really connect. And we joke about
because they was getting picked up by niggas in box Chevys.
Box Chevys, like, bro, we just couldn't. I ain't have nothing for him. And bro, like, don't get it twisted. Like, bro, I've always had a sense of humor. I've always had charisma. I had the traits. You know what I'm saying? This was like, 80 pounds ago too. Like, bro,
you can't compete with a box Chevy and a number 4 from McDonald's.
And you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so now there were, young women who I liked or I tried to talk to, whatever, but we just didn't vibe. It just didn't kick, right? It just didn't really go nowhere, and so and even to this day, bro, like I've never. Oh, I take that back. Never, that's another topic. I don't even want to say that. But anyway, no, man. No, but anyway, yeah, dude, I just never jailed with those people, right? So I, met this other young lady, older, college, man, having conversation, stuff like that. And like, man, we linked up, right? It happened, the conversation, whatever, I felt like she was on my level. And then that's how that happened. Yes, there was different age difference and whatnot. And I guess I could see that other side of the coin of how maybe there are young women who feel like how I felt. So that way they was going for the guys in the box Chevys and the cars. Like
and the number 4 from McDonald's. Don't forget that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it was the roles were reversed a little bit. So I guess, bro, I was a victim just like how they were. You know what I'm saying? It was just the reversal. But also by this person having graduated college and me, the first experience, bro, it was like a.
Oh wait, they graduated college?
Bro, yeah.
No, wait, 1 second.
Yeah, so
now you was a baby.
Yeah, bro, I know. So, even with that, I've never talked about this like really openly either, right? So this is just hope this conversation brings freedom to people, man, and yeah, there was definitely some the bird talking about no box Chevy, no 4 for 4s for me. So, but there was definitely yeah, bro, I don't know what you call it, man, like some I don't know what you want to call it, but there was an age gap, right? And that person was clearly experienced and I wasn't, but that also affected or it set my trajectory for what my other sexual relationships look like, right? Because of that first, experience. And so I'll just kind of pause right there, man. So like I say, for me, I was in high school, I was 17, and it was like my junior year going into senior year. That was like the first time I had, transitioned or had this experience. And it was with somebody who was definitely older, and it was, I guess it was assault. It was like rape, but I didn't see it like that.
If you want.
You said what?
We can go get her if you want.
No, but I thought, but in my mind, bro, I really just looked at that was my girlfriend. Hey, this is my person, like I didn't look at it like that, right? And I grant, okay, if you wanted to argue semantics, hey, consent, age, whatever, state laws, whatever the case may be. Yeah. But anyway, bro, that was just kind of like my experience. And I don't know if you want to share.
So yeah, I can share mine. So the funny thing is I didn't lose my situation until, outside of the molestation. I didn't really lose my stuff until I was in college. Now, yeah, I was getting the top. That was I was getting that.
No power bottom.
Have you ever been
Swallowed
swallowed
up. Just went through a time of swallowing.
But no. And you wanna know what's crazy? Because of like, and I'm gonna just like talk about like all jokes aside, I'm gonna get serious about how like this sexual thing can be an issue. So for me, I was never anybody's first. So psychologically, that did something to me. Like I felt like, again, we were talking about identity and stuff like that. That did something to me. So every woman that I ever encountered, I wanted to be the first of something. So like when it came to like, oh man, shoot, I ain't her first, but I bet I'm the first that ever put her in this position, or I bet I'm the first that ever did it like this. Like that was my mentality going into every sexual encounter that I had. You know, even when it came to like the women that I was actually in a relationship and actually loved, it was from a selfish place because I didn't feel like a man because I never was anybody's first. Right. So like my first encounter, you know, it was with a woman this is crazy. Everything is full circle. This woman was going through divorce. I was 19 years old. I was 19 years old.
How old was she again?
She was like 27, 28.
Yeah, okay. See, yeah, you might as well be in my boat. Yeah.
I was 19 years old, and it was, I'll never forget it, man. It was the summer of it was the winter of 2008. Because the 808 and Heartbreak came out, and that was my theme song. Every time I go to her house, Memories Made in the Coldest Winter, I would pop that song on every time I drive to her house. But yeah, man, you know, and that was like the first time that I actually like did it or whatever, right? But even in that, it was the same mentality. I'm about to be the first dude that she ever had after her, you know what I'm saying, her husband or whatever. Like that was like my mentality going into it or whatever. And me, you know, watching porn, I'm thinking, okay, I got to do this move. I got to do it like this. I got to do it. And it's like looking back on it now, it's just like, dude, like that was so like out of pocket. Like I was so in a bad place of doing it. Like if I go, like I say it, if I can go back in time, and I swear I would be a virgin. Like when I'm at a place now that I understand that sex ain't just like this release of something. Like it ain't just like there is a spiritual attachment to it. Everybody that you attach yourself to, like for me, at least for me, I'm an empath, right? Like I'm a very compassionate person, and I pick up other people's like feelings, emotions, because I'm very empathetic. But if I get involved with a person, like I'll all of a sudden like, man, why am I depressed, or why am I, you know, you start feeling what they feeling or whatever. And I found myself doing that. So I'm like, as of recently, man, even though like I joke with the guys, you know, guys are guys or whatever, but I also let them know like, yo, I know, you know, we having jokes, but I ain't out here like that. Or at least I ain't trying to be out here like that. And if I am out here like that, like I'll be out there and I'm gonna let you know. But like, I've really tried to like stay away from like just engaging in meaningless encounters. Cause like it takes away from you. It makes you feel like, man, like I'm just a tool. I'm just a piece of meat, especially when you long for like me. I'm not in a rush to be in a relationship, but like I want to be married again. I want to be in a situation. But like the more that I was out there doing these other stuff, I'm like, man, like this ain't fun. Like this ain't that. Like I want to be laid up with my woman. I want to be, you know what I'm saying? I want to do this. It's like, man, that whole identity gets lost in, and you look back and you like 10, 12, 15 women in, and you like, man, well, like, how did I get here? Like, well, this is, you ever had an encounter where like literally right after you done, I'm talking about the moment that thing come up out of you, you like, man, what the heck am I doing? Like, bro, like, why did I even, this was a way, like, what am I doing?
Yeah. So
that was it post nut clarity.
Right, bro. I was gonna say, if I feel like that, forget the encounters. I'm talking about them one-on-ones when it's just me, bro. I look at some porn or something, like, get this off my screen. This filthy stuff. Let me clear this browser off. Like, bro, like if anything, that's when I felt probably, you know, the worst, or kind of going to what you were saying, like, bro, I struggled because, like I said, bro, like my peer groups, man, and some of the older homies, oh yeah, bro, I'm getting the neck. Oh man, bro, just listening to their stories of college. Yeah, man. Bro, he had one chick over there, then I had the other one, and we was both getting the head, and we was looking at each other like, bro, like I felt like, dang, like I'm losing, bro. I'm not running no trains. I'm not.
I don't
like,
have them stories.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then too, like, bro, even in my stint in college, man, like I pursued some of those things, right? Or I attempted, tried to quarterback some stuff because, man, in my mind, this is what we got to do. You want to be a man, you want to have stories to tell at the table with the guys, you got to run some trains. You got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it just, but, and even hindsight looking at that, bro, like that junk is like so like weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Like just really looking at it in a clear head, like, bro, like, yeah, it's not my thing.
I'm banging these chicks to tell other guys about it. Like,
bro, yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, like, man, but that was the social currency. You know what I'm saying? Or like even, bro, like even just trying to be like the ladies, man, and knock down as many as I could or whatever, bro. I would feel so convicted, so dirty, like, man, like I would legit, like I say, bro, had the Jesus Christ jersey on. I'm in middle school taking pictures with it, bro. So I just knew I was wrong, although I was trying to live this different life. And like I said, people who have different belief systems or whatever, you do what was for you. But for me, man, I knew like that wasn't the life for me. You know what I'm saying, bro? I would feel, bro, like Tommy, even, bro, I would be needing an altar call. I'm up here. Let me turn on praise is what I do. Let me just like, bro, bro, for a time, you talk about posting a clip, bro. As soon as I'm done, I get the towels. I mean, let me repent. Let me turn some music on because I don't like this feeling. I need a, bro. Like I was the most altar calls I've been to in my life, bro. Just because I'm trying to get this off me. Like I don't want to be connected no more. Just
hey, I know you remember this?
Yeah, I know. Like, bro, like I just. Like, man, because I wasn't that guy as much as I had tried to be because of peers or whatever I heard at my core, it really wasn't like who I was, man. I was really designed to be what, I felt like, man, just have my person. And also too, man, we talked about growing up with these guys and these different people and playing sports and being in the locker room. Yo, you said it's 12-year-olds who ain't washing up. It's adults who smelling like doo-doo. And then I'm looking like, and I look at
you be having sex?
Bro, yeah, like, and then you said she did what to you? You don't smell that? Like, bro, it got me looking at, bro, now I'm looking at these women sideways. I'm like, you know what? It just ruined my whole outlook on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah,
And I know people be like, man, I watch it with my girl, man. We try to we spice up things, and like to each his own. Like I don't want anybody to walk away feeling like we being judgmental. But for my conservative Christian values, what I'm supposed to live, and I don't live by the Bible the way that I'm supposed to. I'm a sinner just like everybody else. I make mistakes or whatever.
For sure.
But the standard that I'm supposed to live by, there's no way that I can like truly be like and truly enjoy pornography, being that it's so perverted. Like it ain't like, think about this, JC. The number one, you know what the number one search porn category is?
I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah,
it's incest. It's stepmom, stepbrother, stepsister, stepdaddy. It's incest, right? That's perverted. You look at the world, right? On top of that, you ever wondered, like I'm saying like you ain't never watched porn. Yeah. You ever watch like when the women are shaved down there? You know the reason why they do that is to appear younger, right? And so you got the like it's rooted in perversion. It's trying to fit. That's why you see dad has sex with babysitter or like you see all of these like it's all perverted, and it's like when it's like, where do you stop at, right? I talked about it earlier scientifically, how it talks about like it gives you like these dopamines or whatever, but like when you sing, it desensitizes you. When you sing something so much, you're gonna be like, okay, what's next? It's almost like drugs. Like,
Yeah,
oh
for real.
man, I can't get high on this no more. What's the next thing,
Yeah.
right? So you start watching porn, whatever. Now that don't do nothing to you. Now you like, okay, well, I didn't seen this. I wonder what it looked like if animals do it to people, or I wonder what it
Yeah.
looked like if people do
Yeah.
it to kids. Like you can go down that
The
rabbit hole.
gateway.
That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
how people, how a lot of people get like that, because they become so desensitized that they start exploring other things to try to get that same high that they like. It was not. I listen. I don't want to laugh because I want to be serious about this, but nigga, I ain't never had a feeling like the first time I nutted.
Oh, for sure. Facts. Yeah. Yeah.
It scared me. Nigga, I ain't touched my peen for like 3 weeks.
Bro.
So
Yeah.
I ain't know what was happening. Or
Bro,
whatever.
it was like lightning and thunder. The house was shaking. All that kind of stuff was, bro. Yeah, I'm with you.
So it's like we chase, like, again, addiction. We chase after that experience over and over again. So the more that we dive into it, the more that we watch, it's like, okay, this ain't doing it for me. This is why you start where you on page 1, and by the time you get done, you end up on page 139.
139, bro.
You mean you didn't flick through 139 pages of 50 to 100 videos to try to find the perfect one for you? Brother, you have a problem.
Have a problem, bro. Or nigga, bro, it's so bad. Something you done seen years ago. You know what I'm saying? Man, I gotta find that one video.
I gotta find that one.
Let me find that one that I seen.
You start trying to type in keywords.
Bro, keywords describing what they had on. Red shirt.
Said dark skin,
right.
Dark skin girl, cheerleader uniform.
Bro, like, you know, but that goes back to that I know we laughing, we joking, but it's how strong that thing is, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, you know, we got a question here from Nakia, bro. She asked us, like, so these women you had these encounters with that were older, did y'all ever share these feelings or conversations? I guess about how we felt like in a moment. And honestly, I'll jump in first. Like, man, Nakia at the time, like, no, like not at all, right? Like I was young, I was 17. You know, this is my first experience. Like, I might even felt like, hey man, I'm in love or something. Like, this is like my first girlfriend, right? So I'm just thinking like, yo, this is my person. You know, so I'm not thinking anything is wrong with what's happening or transpiring, regardless of, you know, age gap or anything like that. And you know, even like during that encounter or that relationship, it was just, man, it was a lot of learning. It was conversation. Yes, you know, we had sex and stuff like that, but it was like I said, that was my first girlfriend, right? And you know, for the optics of it, and even kind of looking back, it was like, man, you know, hey, maybe that shouldn't have went down like that, you know. But even in my 17-year-old mind, my 17-year-old brain, you know, nothing happened that I did not want to happen in that season or that time, right? Now, had I had some, you know, a little bit more guidance, maybe I probably would have moved a little bit differently, or, you know, whatever. But like in that moment and during that season, yeah, I didn't even think anything of it or anything was wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? I like, if I like, even to this day, so if like I got a son, if he was 17 and there was a woman that was 25 who's interested in him, yeah, I would probably, you know, have some things to say, or some type of counsel or guidance, or I would have questions even, you know, to her, whatever, right? Like there would be, you know, something, you know, there for sure. But for me in that moment, no, like I didn't have the maturity to be like, you know, hey, why me? I'm young. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, yeah, that wasn't where my head was at. I'm thinking on the lens of, hey, I'm trying to get in with my peers. They think they doing something. Oh, you got somebody.
There's gonna be a story to tell.
Yeah, you know, my girl got a bachelor's degree and a car and teaching me how to drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm killing all y'all. Y'all think y'all can do this to me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, you know, so it for me, like I say, and even like that ego, I'm out here winning. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here winning. I got bachelor's degree, car, job, like 401k benefits, like, you know what I'm saying? Like AARP
it
card.
plays to that identity piece that you talking about, your ego.
Right.
Like, hey, you didn't, all these dudes, all these years, they didn't talk about all the girls you smashed. You didn't beat them all. You didn't jump to the top of the list.
I got, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, so yeah, so to answer your question, it wasn't anything of Yeah, there wasn't anything that I guess that I would have any that I felt bad about. I guess like in that in those moments, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just, hey, this is what's going on. This was happening. This is cool. You know, yeah, you know, so on and so forth. I don't know if you want to add or jump in on that, Tommy. Like,
Yeah,
what's your
nah, not really. I mean, it ain't like I at that like I had no reason to share with them any feelings or anything like that because I'm young and there's an older woman that want me. In my mind, I'm winning. Like this is gonna be again. I can't. And this, I'm gonna tell you how I got in trouble. So I'm still living with my parents at the time.
yeah,
My dumb behind, I want to tell my cousin, hey man, you know that girl? Remember her? That
yeah,
old that one? Yeah, I got that. Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited. And my dumb behind loud, my daddy heard me. I'm still mad at my daddy because he told my mama.
yeah, yeah,
but but my daddy overheard the conversation and he told my mom or whatever. I'm like, Dad, you could have pulled me to the side, had a
yeah,
conversation with me or
yeah,
whatever. But he told my mom, but like that just goes to show you what like how immature my mind was. Like
yeah.
this is an exciting thing. I want to share this with my friends.
Right, for sure. You know, um, so yeah, man. I'm gonna pause right here, man. We kind of we went for an hour and a few minutes. We could keep going. I got some more stuff to say or tell, but we gonna bring this back, man. We're gonna bring this one back. We may bring some more guests or whatever on with us as well. I don't know if anybody, man, we didn't get anybody who said they wanted to come join us. We could have let y'all join the party. We had we got 2 spots up here. We could have had y'all join and come kind of share in and share your experiences or your story, but that's fine. We'll bring this back at another day. But I just really wanted to man, just to kind of go live and shed some light on these different topics and kind of have this conversation. I know a lot of young men have gone through or are going through a lot of the things that we've talked about, and there may be even older men right now who are maybe in one of the buckets where you're still struggling with ego or male identity or everything is rooted in women. And you know, if you need help or support, right? If you just need somebody to talk to, whatever the case may be, or if you need therapy, you can reach out to myself or Tommy. Send us a DM. You know, the lines are always open. And you know, or if you're a believer, you want somebody to kind of pray with you and kind of support you, we can do that as well. But I really wanted to pull the covers off and have a real conversation, right?
Yeah.
About real experiences or things that young men, young people are dealing with and that they go through. Even being a believer, being a Christian, sometimes I felt like in some of those church settings or in some family settings, you know, a lot of these topics are taboo and nobody really wants to talk about them or be vulnerable or be open about their experiences. And they kind of sweep things under the rug. And
Yeah.
you dealing with stuff, you got these desires sexually or whatever, you've been exposed to porn, maybe you've been molested or assaulted, and you know, you internalizing stuff. You think you're a freak now, you know what I'm saying? Because of what you've encountered or what you've been through. And that's not necessarily, you know, the case, right? So if anything, I just want to encourage more people to speak out, you know, tell their stories. Like we've shared ours here tonight, you know, and I've got no shame in my game, you know what I'm saying? Like about
Nah.
anything that I've shared tonight, that I've talked to, that I've talked about tonight. And I'm gonna leave this replay up. You guys can if you want to watch it, you go on over to YouTube. I'll have it up on YouTube. I'll probably post up some other small clips here on Facebook. Facebook will have it up for the next 30 days, but share this out with somebody, a young man, whatever, old man, whoever, that you think could benefit from having, you know, this type of conversation or just hearing from some of the things that we talked about tonight. I hope that, you know, even us not having, you know, backgrounds as therapists or psychologists or anything like that, but just by being 2 real men, I hope that this was able to help support or bless somebody in some type of way, right? Give you some liberty or freedom to even like what Tommy said. He came out, he shared. I've never heard, you know, you talking about, hey man, I was, you know, molested coming up or whatever, right? Like I didn't know that. So bro, kudos to you for even just, you know, sharing your story. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, I'm gonna pause right there, man. Anything you want to add, Tommy, to that?
Nah, everything you said was spot on, man. Like, fellas, like, don't let society tell you that, like, to be a man requires you to have a bunch of sex.
Yeah.
I'm telling you from experience, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
It's overrated. Now, I ain't saying it ain't good, right? But it's not worth the hassle of like the constant like it's people losing money, losing family, losing like it ain't worth none of that, man. Find you a woman, get married, have as much sex as you want with her.
Yeah.
Dude, get as crazy as you want with her, man, and find satisfaction in that. Again, I don't want y'all thinking that I'm speaking from a place of like I'm pointing down, like, yo, I'm pointing at me too. I gotta remind myself that constantly, like, yo, Tommy, like, hey, man, it ain't worth it, Tommy. Let that one go. You know what I'm saying? Don't even do it. I know we said this is over. I got a bunch. I'll share this story another time.
Let it run. What you got? Let it run.
I knew it was bad. Oh man, I hope they not on. I knew it was bad when I took down the whole family.
Oh, what? So let's pause right there for the viewers out there, for the 4 people on the live. Tommy, when you say you took down a whole family, what does that mean? Elaborate for us.
A mama and all the daughters.
What? But take them down. Like, what does that mean? Where did you take them down? To prom? To the river? Where did you take them?
Back in the day, there was this great musician by the name of Chris Brown.
Okay.
And he had a song called "Take You Down."
Okay.
Listen to that song. That's exactly what happened.
So you slept with a whole family.
Yeah. And not at once. It wasn't one of them type of situations. It became this thing of like, this gonna be a story to tell. Again,
ego.
Back to that ego.
Yeah.
Back to that ego, that identity. Man, I knocked down the mama, sister, the other sister, and the sister.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, like when after it happened, I'm like, bam, I felt like Thanos. I had funny thing is when I did it, I updated my Facebook status to Thanos with all the Infinity Stone gauntlet or whatever.
Wait a minute. This sounds recent. This sounds recent. Oh man.
But after I did it, I'm like, yo, like what? Like why? Like what true satisfaction did you get out of that? Outside of like putting yourself in a situation, like that's a messy situation. Like that's like what, like, and I hate that I don't hate that I'm sharing it because I don't care because it is what it is in the past. Like, what example? And this is how I look at sex now. What example? Even though like my kids may never find out about this, or I'm not gonna go into detail with my kids. Like what you like, people can like you can hide as much as you want from your kids. I don't know what it is, but patterns repeat.
Oh yeah,
patterns repeat. And I'm like, yo, like what type of pattern am I leaving? And it's spiritual. What am I leaving for my kids? Like, do I want that for my son? Do I want that for my daughter? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my fear is that it may skip my son. My daughter gonna get this like this, and I'm like, yo, like, do I really want that for my children? So it's from that point on, I was like, okay, Tom, you gotta move different. You can't be like that. You can't be out there like that. And I fail from time to time, but I strive to avoid being in those situations.
Absolutely. And so we got a question. So Nakia asked, so you smashed the mom and the daughters, and they don't know about this? Question mark. Do they know about this?
No, they don't.
They don't.
This is breaking news. No, they know. They found out. I ain't gonna lie. They did.
Okay.
That's why I ain't get it no more.
Yeah. I hope you repented. You didn't need it.
I did. He hit me with the boom, boom, booms. But no, nah, man. It's nothing that I'm. At the time, I thought it was gonna be like this story that I was gonna be proud of. I thought it was gonna be like, man, I can tell this. But like when I tell it, I'm like, yo, that's sick, Tommy.
Yeah,
that ain't nothing to be proud of.
Yeah,
you know, and that just goes to show you how far our ego will go to like have this feeling of identity or feel like, yo, I'm a man or I'm this. You know, so
it was all about who you can subdue, you know, how much money you make, the job you're doing, who you're doing, what they look like, you know, all those were like, you know, the status symbols. And you know, like I say, man, I pray that other men can break free from these, you know, vanity metrics, man, of manhood, you know, to truly live, you know, who they were called to and created to be. And like I said, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. You know, whoever is on here, shout out to y'all. Say I got 4 people on here. Shout out to y'all. You know, let's give it a hand. Is it
Can't hear you, dude.
Oh, you lost me? How you lose me? Can you hear me now?
Nah, the hand claps was louder than your mic.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was clapping. Yeah, so shout out to the 4 people we got on here. We appreciate y'all. Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening in. And with that being said, y'all, this is your boy JT, the corporatepreneur. We are signing off tonight. We got Tommy here, the born again bachelor. You know, and yeah, man, we're gonna be having these conversations. This will be set up in a podcast form, maybe next month. Give me a couple weeks, man. Right now, we just shooting from the hip, you know, having the conversations, talking about whatever we want to talk about. And I want a platform where I can just share my experiences about these different things, right? Like I don't want to be putting about, oh, I'm just the credit guy, or I'm just this, or I'm that. Man, there's just so much more to me that I want to give to the world, that I want to help and support people in. And man, just part of it is just being real, right? Talking about life experiences and different things like that. Like I said, I know this is old, but man, I remember Juanita Biden talking about no more sheets, man. We got to stop the hiding. We got to, you know, keep it a buck, man. We got to start being real, you know what I'm saying? Telling people about, you know, our stories, our testimonies, and just, you know, different things like that. So, like I said, we signing off, y'all. Peace and love, and we'll talk to you soon.